happening, guys? So hopefully the audio is okay. I have got my mask on today underneath this helmet because it's a bit cold. But yeah, today's topic, I thought I'd talk about insurance. So obviously my channel is more towards people that ride 125s at the moment and on CBTs. Obviously as I go further along my progression, I'll obviously be doing a full bike test and my channel will change. But obviously it's mainly towards 125cc drivers and obviously people on the CBTs. So one of the topics I was thinking about the other day, and to be honest with you, it's because I was doing my car insurance, but I thought, it'd be a good topic to talk about actual motorbike insurance. So there's obviously a lot of people that are younger, like 17, and we're just on the CBT. Their insurance can be very, very high on motorbikes, and I've noticed that the insurance prices are going up a fair bit, which it's kind of like, to me, it kind of, I don't know, I've always thought insurance is quite high for a motorbike anyway. Obviously the longer you drive, the more you get your no claims, the cheaper it'll be. But obviously there's a lot of people that drive motorbikes around uninsured, and you can kind of see why. Like, I don't condone it whatsoever, but you can understand sometimes, like, if you have a 125 and you've paid, I don't know, say you bought a new bike and you've paid $2-3 grand, sometimes more if you've gone for a name brand. If you've paid about $2-3 grand for your bike, and then you're paying on top of that $1 grand to $2 grand sometimes on your insurance for a 125. If something happens to that bike, like whether or not you're in a crash and it's not your fault, or if your bike gets stolen, which obviously it does happen a lot, I've had it to myself twice. Luckily the second time I found my bike. But like the cost of how much, like obviously when your insurance pays out for you if you make a claim, the next time you have your insurance, it just goes up stupidly to the point where, like, even the money they pay out for your insurance doesn't even cover the cost of how much you've paid for your insurance and your bike at the same time. Like, if someone who's 17 bought this bike, the bike's $3 grand, say they've paid $1.5 grand for insurance, that's $4.5 grand on a motorbike, and it's only 125. That's a lot of money, and your insurance ain't going to give you $4.5 grand back. And there's also one of the things they do is when they ask you for your value of your bike, it's not how much you paid for the bike, it's how much if you were going to sell your bike to now on the trade. So if you went onto like We Buy Any Bike or something like that, it's how much they actually value that bike at. And it's ridiculous. Like, you could have a bike and do 5 miles on it and the price has already gone down, especially on the trade value. So it's like I say, you could buy a bike at 17-year-old and end up paying like $4.5 grand sometimes $5.5 grand. Like I say, depending if you get like a Yamaha or a Honda or something like that, or a Suzuki. You could pay upwards of like $4.5 to $5.5 grand to get on the road, and if something does happen, especially if you get your bike stolen and you're having to make a claim, you're not getting that money back to be able to buy another bike. And then the next time, like I said, the next time you come to do your insurance, you're going to be absolutely stung. Like, it's just going to be absolutely ridiculous the next time you get insured. So back when I used to have 125s and stuff, my insurance has never really been any more than, well, this was about 8 years ago before I had this, but I last had a 125, and I believe I was paying around £350 for my insurance, and that was on the highest hung GT 125, like a Comet V-twin 125. Like I said, I was paying about £350 for the insurance, and it had modifications on it. And whereas now, when I've gone to insure this, it's cost around, I can't remember exactly, but I want to say it's about £500 for the insurance on this for a year. So it's gone up, which, but I think the reason for that is because I've had time away, I've not been able to put the no claims on there. So obviously if I'd have continued riding a bike every single year, then I would have had like 8 years no claims to add to it. But obviously because I've had time away, I couldn't add the no claims. And even though I've had a car licence for 8 years now, it doesn't count when it comes to your CBT. Like, literally, they ask you to put how long have you had your license for. So yeah, I've had my license, well, my actual provisional license since I was 16. But it's not that. It asks you how long you've had your license for. You see, I've had my full UK car license, and you're not allowed to do that. It asks you that it's different. So how long have you had your provisional license? Which I think is quite stupid. Like, it also asks you about how much experience you've had on the road. So that's the thing with me. I've been on the road since I was 16 years old. I'm 32 years old now. So I've been on the road a long time, but that's including motorbikes and cars. And obviously there's been a little time between from the motorbikes, but they're never put into the account of how much time you've actually been fully on the road. Like, all that time I have been insured one way or another. I've either been insured on motorbikes or I've been insured on cars. But for some reason there's no insurance that brings them both together, which I think is ridiculous. Like, they should take your experience on the road into account. I know it can be different on a motorbike compared to a car, but I'm a lot better driver in the car now because of how long I was on the motorbike for. You just notice things way more than what you do if you just go into your car. And I know people will probably disagree with that, but honestly I believe that if you've been on the road on a motorbike and you get into a car, you just notice things a little bit more. You seem to be a lot more vigilant. So I think the insurance at the moment, I just think it's getting quite expensive, and I think I've seen a few other like influencers talking about it, but a lot of people who used to ride motorbikes are they're basically getting rid of the bikes, they're selling them up because it's now becoming too expensive to own a motorbike, which I think is quite bad. Like, there's been obviously a big discussion about it, like, are people getting rid of the motorbikes because there's too many police around? Are they getting rid of the motorbikes because it's just not as safe anymore? And when I say it's not as safe as more, it's not just, I don't just mean like the car crashes and stuff like that and the bike crashing accidents. It's more towards the theft of bikes. Like, the theft of motorbikes has increased so much since I started riding, and obviously that has had a massive knock-on effect on the insurance. So it's just, I've got an indicator fucking pulling out into my side of the road, stuff like that. You see that more when you've been on bikes. But yeah, it's just I'm interested to know, if you ride a 125, like, what's your insurance? Like, how much do you pay? Like, what bike have you got? What type of cover have you got? And that's the other thing. Like, obviously, when I was younger and I used to have motorbikes, I always used to just insure them third-party fire and theft. And to be fair, when I first insured my motorbikes, I did third-party only just because I couldn't afford to pay the insurance, and also because I used to do it third-party only because if my motorbike did get stolen, which, like I said, it did twice, me paying the extra amount I were per year to have it fire and theft, when it come to it actually being stolen, there was no point in me paying the amount I paid. So it's like, now I'm fully comp on this bike, but you can see why a lot of people don't go down the line of doing fully comp, because again, you're just paying so much money to be on the road on two wheels, and I don't know, I think the insurance is just absolutely crazy nowadays. So, like with my car, I've just done my insurance renewal on a new, well, not even renewal, I've just done insurance on a new car. I've obviously got a Jaguar XF, and I was paying about £1,500 for the year, which obviously people can say that's quite high, but the car was modified, and obviously all the tints, the body kit on it, exhaust were done, it's also tuned and stuff like that. So I'm paying £1,500. I mean, I've just done my insurance now for a Mercedes A-Class, and I've paid about, I want to say my insurance for that is £700 for the year. I just think comparing a car to a bike on insurance, it's just like, I don't know, I just think the insurance on a motorbike is so high. Obviously, when you go do your full bike test, your insurance will be lower, and I didn't know actually until the other day that you can actually transfer your insurance what you've been on. So basically, if you've been on a CBT and you've had your CBT for 2 years and you did your full bike test at the end of the 2 years, your 2 years insurance actually goes onto the full bike test, where I never actually knew that. I thought it was just something different. But that's like I said again, I don't understand. Like, I've been on the car, I've been driving cars for 8 years consecutively. Why can't my experience from driving cars and motorbikes and my no claims from my cars be transferred over onto motorbike? I think it should. It just isn't. But yeah, like I said, I'm interested to know how much people are paying for the insurance for bikes, and like, have you gone down the route of doing fully comp? Are you just third party fire and theft? Or are you just third party only? And if you are third party only, what is the reason for it? Is it because of the cost? Is it because it's not worth insuring now to be protected if it's stolen, because you obviously never get your money back? There's obviously a lot of different scenarios and stuff with your insurance for a lot of different insurance providers out there. But I'd be interested to know what your thoughts are. And this van, or not this van, this truck is out my fucking arse at the moment. But yeah, be interested to know how much you're paying for insurance, what bikes have you got, and how old are you as well. Like I'm 32 years old, and I'm on a 125, and I still think because I'm 32 years old, the insurance I'm paying is very, very expensive. Like I would have thought with my age, it would have been cheaper. But yeah, let me know below what cars you got, how much you're paying insurance for it. If you ever have had a bike stolen, have you gone through your insurance and have you got your money back? Because from my experience as well, the other thing is when you get a bike stolen, and if you go down the route of doing the correct thing, well, what you deem to be correct, and ring your insurance and also tell the police, you end up getting stinged with a lot of fines, a lot of money that you didn't think you'd have to pay. Obviously you have to pay your excess, but then also, when my motorbike was stolen, I found it literally around the corner from my house in Sheffield years ago. I ended up doing the right thing, and the police come and took the bike because they said, well, we're going to do forensics and doing obviously trying to get fingerprints. And because they took the bike, they said to me that I weren't allowed to take the bike home, which was stupid, it was around the corner. So they took the bike and then had to pay £150 2 days later to get my bike out of storage, which I found absolutely ridiculous. Like, I've had my bike stolen from me, why am I paying to get my bike out? It's not my fault that it's gone. And the other thing that I actually found out as well, I ended up having to go through basically like a small claims investigation with them and stuff, because they took the bike, it was 3 days actually, they took the bike because they said they had to do forensics, but they didn't actually do it. So 3 days, I think it's after the first 24 hours or something like that, then they can't do forensics. But they don't tell you this when they take your bike. So after 3 days later, they've not actually done any forensics. So me paying the amount I paid, I ended up basically contesting it, and I got some of the money back. I didn't get all of it back. I think I literally got half. I think I got like £60-70 back, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. Like you've already suffered a loss by having your bike stolen and damaged, and if you're lucky to get it back, you're then having to pay to get your stolen bike back, and then you're left having to pay to fix it and pay the fees to get it. So I think it's ridiculous. Insurance is ridiculous these days. Yeah, let me know your thoughts on insurance, how much you pay, what bike you've got, how old you are, and if you've had any bad experience with insurance, let me know. I'd be interested to see what you say.